will be joining us on Twitch, and some of you will be joining us on YouTube. Thank you to everyone who stops by. We are very excited because this is the first of our perspective books.
Yeah, we've got a lot of content, but well, let's do the intro one more time real quick. Hello, I'm Travis.
Hello, I'm Caitlin.
We're Fool and Scholar Productions, and we're here today to talk about a book. We're working on a book, which is not audio. That's different. It's a different world. We're
physical object in your hands. So we are here today because we are talking about our Kickstarter, which went up about 5 seconds ago.
It is up. It's live.
It is called Unnatural Horrors.
Yes.
And you can find it at Kickstarter.com. And
link is in everything.
Link is on almost everything except for here in the Instagram, because Instagram is finicky. But you can find it on our Twitter, on our Facebook. You can find it if you go to Kickstarter and type in Unnatural Horrors. You will also be able to find it there.
Yes.
We are very excited. We have a goal of about 10,000 American dollars.
Yes, that is our initial goal, and we are very excited to make that happen. It is 9 a.m. if you're in Pacific time. It is noon if you're Eastern time, and it is 6 p.m.
Oh, I counted your one as a thumb.
Oh, as a thumb? What does that mean? Does it thumbs up?
Because you gave a thumbs up.
Oh, it gives a thumbs up emoji.
Okay,
It does it on
right over my face.
Oh no, sorry. I don't mean to do that to you. I'm sorry. So we've been working on a lot of books and a lot of scary content and a lot of artwork. It started off as we had this adventure. For this show, we recorded Dark Dice, and we're like, oh yeah, let's just throw it up there on the internet and see how it goes. It did really well. It became like a platinum bestseller, and
apparently you guys really enjoy the suffering of others.
You really do, and it's a lot of fun. And we started like, there's like people are paying us for this. What if we swapped out the stock art that we had from like the 1800s with maybe a few custom drawn images of like our stuff?
Taylor says that they've been playing the True Necromancer in their current D&D adventure. The True Necromancer is included in Unnatural Horrors,
yes,
with some updated versions of dark designs and spells as well.
So what we basically we've had this stuff up, but we brought it back because there's a new edition of Dungeons and Dragons. There's this new book that's just come out that a lot of you are interested in. It's the 5.5.
Closer so they can see it.
It's a very pretty book. It has a lot more to it, and it is an update of sorts. It makes it easier, streamlined, and we wanted to make sure that our rules would synchronize with these new ones. And there's not a whole lot to change, but there is some stuff to make it easier to read and easier to work with all the additions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madness Creations, for your pledge.
For pledging with
All right,
us.
so what is included in Unnatural Horrors? There's actually quite a substantial
list. Can you scroll? I don't want to miss anything of this list.
Okay, yeah, I can scroll so you can see the actual
So
list.
that was it. That was the list.
Well, no, this is the more list.
Oh, and more
this
list?
This is the actual list. Let's start. Let's break it down piece by piece. The first thing included is, of course, our house-made adventure, Domain of the Nameless God.
Yes. Do you seek him? Find out if you can survive. It's really great for first-time DMs if you've never DM'd an adventure before. It's spooky. It's got a lot of loaded spooky descriptions. So when you see stuff, you can describe it as being like...
You said spooky twice in a sentence. That's why I'm the writer.
She's the writer. But like, when you see a monster, you're not going to like, you encounter ghoul. It's horrific graphic descriptions of this ghoul approaching you, and I don't mean graphic in the gross way, I mean like very creepy and spooky. So
one of the reasons that we do this is because we want it, even as a more complicated and horror-based adventure, to be accessible to new DMs. And one of the great benefits of great descriptive text, blocks of text that allow you to read these dramatic sections to your game players, is that it makes it seem as though you've prepared more. And we want to help you create an immersive situation and an immersive scenario for your players.
Exactly. Also included in this, we've expanded it. If you've ever played Domain of the Nameless God, there are now some variables that can make the game, even if you've played it before, different, right? We've got alternate antagonists, we've got alternate timelines, alternate villagers, travelers out of time who could appear at any part in the adventure who aren't tied to a specific location. We have more monsters, more horrific encounters, random encounters, and then when you get to a certain section of the book, there's a new expansion called Cromana. It's the roaming forest, and a lot more demi-planes of madness, and truly so. And what's this? we hit $1,000. We're 10% to our goal already.
We hit €1,000.
You're €1,000.
Ours is in euro.
Sorry, we live in Germany.
Okay, so every time we get to €1,000, I guess, because that's what we're going to see on our screen, we have a little tiny treat for Izo. Izo,
hop.
Up on camera.
Hop.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Thank you all. That's my dinner. Don't eat that one.
Please don't eat the dumplings. Those are our food.
After.
Our plan was to order pizza tonight.
Oh, I'm gonna raise the
only
volume.
Day that the pizza place is closed apparently in our town is Tuesday nights, and we didn't know that when we started.
We're like, let's order pizza. And then we didn't because they're closed. We also just boosted the gain. Hopefully, you all can hear us a little bit better on Twitch, YouTube. Yay! Awesome.
Perfect. Thank you. If there's any problems with any of the streams, please let us know.
Yes.
We're recording one of them from my phone. And then the other ones are working from this microphone here, so we can fix that if needed. So
Cromana, the world, it's a demiplane, it's a realm of nightmares. There's many different places you can go, and the places you can go. It started off as a little silly map, and then got redrawn by Erebusadora, who made a ridiculously complex and spooky version of the map that I love.
You kissed Izo, didn't you?
I did. It's very furry.
There's so many hairs on you now.
Sorry. Do you seek the fuzzy one? Yes, I do.
Oh, gosh.
I know they're all over. I can't even talk without eating hairs from this little guy now. There's so many. He shed. So anyway, as we were saying, this Cromana realm has expanded. It feels like the Sword Coast Adventure Guide, if you remember that, but with more organization to it, a lot more cross-references and cross-referencing, plot hooks for every location, and many different pocket dimensions you can throw anywhere in any of your adventures, because it is a realm of nightmares. So when your characters fall asleep and have horrific nightmares, you can send them there, or they can find themselves at these locations through a number of interesting portals, dimensions, or traps that can lead them there as well. What else do we have in this book?
All right, so those were just the first two, Domain of the Nameless God and the Realm of Nightmares, Cromana. We also have, Travis, how many pages is this hardcover book going to be?
So someone, Chris M, said he's running Domain of the Nameless God, and it is now, if you have it, it's 90 pages. This is 275. It's actually closer to like almost 300 pages of content. I don't want to say that because we're going to format it, and some of it might get condensed, or some of the illustrations that are quarter page might go full page.
Or honestly, we keep coming up with new ideas while we're like having breakfast, and then we're just like, let's create a new item and add it in.
So this is definitely an expanded adventure. You can spend almost triple the amount of time that you've played Domain on it now if you really want to, or you can keep it really condensed, almost like a one-shot or a two-shot now, if you so desire.
I don't know how you would play it as a one-shot.
I have ideas. Like, depends how much time.
It's
a lot.
It's got heft.
It's got some heft to it. But we also have added 150 original illustrations, more than that actually, probably closer to 190. But it doesn't sound as cool as 150 plus. So we've got a lot of new illustrations from 30 plus artists around the world. Almost every habitable continent has contributed illustrations to this, including some really heavy hitters on our art team.
Almost every habitable continent.
This is true. Antarctica is not super habitable. We also have over 30 magic items, which are really fun, and 50 dark designs, more than 50 of them. So if you're a necromancer, if you're a warlock, you know what an eldritch evocation is.
And slow down.
You know what these evocations can do, and they can make your warlock a unique warlock. They're a U-lock. They're not a random generic warlock. You can do what you want to do. And these dark designs for the necromancer are the same way.
It's not a we-lock, it's a me-lock.
It's a me-lock. I like that. So these allow you to do things like tell people silence when they're coming into your lair and mute them, or they allow you to see through the eyes of your dead at great distances, or they allow you greater permeability over certain spells, ripping skeletons out of corpses, things like that, allowing the entire room to no longer linger with necromantic energy when you're done. So your necromantic energy will all go down and die down, no one will detect undead, and then you snap your fingers and the room comes to life. And then you can do things like that. There's just a bunch of weird ones. There's a couple that are species-based, where you can become a special type of creature where your head no longer has to be attached to your body at all times. And it's a type of undead. It's fun. It's based on some very interesting lore that we had looked up and put together. There are a lot of other things too, in addition to the true necromancer class, which you can specialize in the path of bones, corpses, or spirits, and each has their own ways to go in that direction. We've got a lot of monsters, because when you're playing a necromancer, you're going to raise a lot of things, but also in this adventure there are a lot of terrible monsters that can destroy you.
So we've created not only our small version of a monster manual, but additionally we make sure that when we create our stories and we create our appendixes, that we cross-reference everything for the ease of use when you're playing the game.
I am currently running an adventure. I won't name drop it because I'm having a difficult time. They'll reference a monster, and I'm not sure if it's a monster in one part of their appendix, the other part of their appendix, if it's a character part of the monster appendix, or if it's a standard 5e monster. And that can be difficult at times. So having really quick cross-references and letting people know where they can find what they're looking for through tabs, through things like alt text for images, can make life a lot easier. So we wanted to make sure that when you do see a name of a monster like the Corpse Gorger, which is one of our new horrific guys. Oh my gosh,
Okay, so we missed 2 doggy treats for Ezo because we're already over 3,000
We
euro.
talk too much.
So,
Hey, Mom.
now Ezo has to do like a trick. Travis gets to choose.
Ezo, up. Stop.
Don't
Okay,
kiss him this
Ezo,
time.
speak.
Speak.
Speak. Good boy.
Yeah. Okay.
And then one more. We got
Wait,
one more for you.
what do you guys want him to do? He
Give-
can do a lot.
He can do a lot. He could do well, on camera's tough. What if
On
he did like
camera's
the
tough.
foot? The foot.
You want to
Ezo,
give me a paw?
up. And give Mom your paw.
Oh, thank you, sweetie.
I can't not kiss
Don't
him.
kiss him. It's all over your face.
It's okay. It's all that sunscreen. Guys,
you can't
thank
have
you.
the dumplings.
We're,
You can't have the dumplings.
we're very glad that we are getting closer to our goal with each moment, helping us make this thing possible.
Can't
We
have
are.
the dumplings.
Yep, those are our dumplings for later. Those are victory dumplings. So we
Okay,
also have a
moving
bunch
on
of
with
monsters.
the list of things that are included.
So many monsters.
Well, give him 3 of the monsters.
Over 40 monsters. We've got a lot of different types of necromancers that you can battle. It's like 3 different levels of apprentice, medium versus super experienced. So if you're having an adventure at 15th level, you can encounter an osteomancer, one who specializes in the path of bone.
You guys can't see it, but off camera, Iso's just like
Staring.
giving me the eyes, like, "Hey, I can smell more treats up there."
We also have lots of undead. As you know, we're working on to build a lot of undead. We also have a lot of fae. We've got these things called the fiblings. They're these aquatic halflings that are a bit evil most of the time, and they can ride these gigantic dragonflies, which are omnivorous. We know dragonflies like to eat flesh, but also greens. They do both. And yeah, their eyes are very bug-like. They're very creepy, and they will try and reel you in and capture you and pull you with these barbed. I forget. It's like basically like a fishing line sort of thing. It's like a line. It lassos you, but it's very unfun when it gets you. We also have a new enemy called the Neverborn. It's a demigod. We've got a couple demigods in this book. In addition to the nameless god, you've got the silent one, and now you've got our dear friend, the Neverborn, who has a special ability, and it's called Dark Speech. And it's the language of creation and destruction, and it allows you to basically, these secret words were never intended for mortals, and they can hurt you if you don't pass your linguistics
You're
check.
not staying on my list, man.
I'm on the list.
No,
It's on-
you got to stay on list. Like we're at this part now. For some people here have actually played True Necromancer.
Okay.
But some people have no idea what it is.
These are extensively play tested, by the way. So if you're thinking like, oh, how balanced is this? We've had hundreds and hundreds of people give us feedback to make this thing balanced and no more typos and things of that nature, and make sure that every class and ability is referenced and sub-piece. Tell us more.
How can people diversify their necromancer when they get to a certain level?
At level 3, you pick a path. And that doesn't mean you're locked out from the other options, but you specialize in either corpses, bones, or spirits. Spirits can be like, doesn't have to be evil, right?
I thought you said it was flesh.
Flesh. I said corpses and flesh are kind of the same thing. They're very corpulent. So with corpses, it's like Build-A-Bear. You've got your let's call it a corpse servant, because we're not using the phrase zombie because it's a very specific mythos. So you've got your corpse servant for you. And let's say you want to give him ghoul claws, or you want to make it when it gets killed, it bursts into a bunch of spores, toxic spores. You can do that. Or if you want to modify it so it looks more living, right? And you can do all these different things, and you're using your hit dice. So for 1 hit dice, you can do these things. For 3 hit dice, you can pull up the flesh a little bit so that they can fly a little bit or glide. I'm making it sound really
I turned
cute.
my corpse into a flying squirrel.
We've had some interesting adventures where someone brought back a horse or a nightmare, and yes, it became a flightmare, or a fear. They had a funny name for it, frightmare, and it could fly, and it got really weird and fun. So all these things are waiting for you on the path of flesh or corpses. They're called stitches, the people who do this. You also have osteomancers, the os people, who specialize in bone. So bone matter can be used to modify or create. Maybe you don't need the lower half of your skeleton. Maybe you want them to sit there and guard you while you sleep.
Hey, Florian.
So it doesn't take you so much less. Creatures from the White Vault stat blocks. We've got some similar stuff. You might find some similar things in there. Not exact perfect one-to-ones, because this isn't the White Vault. Hey, Finner.
It's very much a different world. We have
Yeah.
our fantasy world, and then we have our like modern.
But these have statistic blocks, and you can play them in your adventure, and they're fun and creepy. And within the Path of Bones, eventually you don't even need solid bones. You can reshape bone, matter to create armor for yourself, to create weapons, to create tools that you might specialize in. And you can also even work with clouds of bone that are...
What feature do necromancers use to summon their servants?
So it's a thing called Call to Unlife. It's an ability they get, and you summon your assistants from the grave, your servants. They don't have to, again, be just random corpses. They could be ancestors, the Path of Spirits. You can have mementos of flesh, and you can summon their spirits to guide you or keep a bridge to your ancestors or your friends or your pets, because undead don't have to be humanoids, right? That's a very Western idea. So you can have a snake giving you wisdom as you're going through your pet snake, or your friend, the snake, from way back in the day when you were friends and BFFs. So there's a lot of different options you can go. And as a Path of Spirits necromancer, if you know Ajay from Dark Dice, sometimes he uses abilities that are sometimes featured in stuff. Thank you all for the kind words, friends.
Yeah, we're going to have to read all the comments
I
on
know.
YouTube.
It's so many. And to finish this idea off, just so I can leave it and leave it in the grave, you can also, when you're summoning things, you're using your hit dice to bring them to life. And that's an interesting mechanic because it's not one that you're using on other things. So as you create more powerful creatures to defend yourself with, to aid yourself, to help your party, you are also giving up part of your own life in the process. And
hello, wonderful people.
Yes.
Sorry,
and
people are
thank you.
sending very nice things. Okay, so the next thing on the list
Heartfelt
of
hope
the
inspired.
included section of this book is the Untethered,
Yes.
which is going to be a new species that you can play as
Thanks, Tanner.
in both 5e and the new 5.5 rules. Do you want to talk more about the Untethered?
Someone just got an 85 tier. Thank you. Really appreciate it. And also, what inspired you to create this? And there's a lot of, we wanted more things out of our games. And the Untethered.
We wanted to give more out of our games.
Yes. And we really wanted the necromancer to feel necromantic. And I almost said like romantic. But it isn't always like, you've got the one spell if you're for summoning things. And it's not as cool as being able to always have your minions with you at all times. Like your assistant dog that I've got here, right, with me at all times. Necromancer. But untethered. So perhaps you've died and your character's dead. But what if you had unfinished business? Perhaps you might come back. Perhaps there's a reason for you to come back, for vengeance, for unfinished duties that must be resolved, unfinished business. So this is a augmented species because they're changing the word from race to species. It works as any creature you are now, you can become an untethered. And as an untethered, you are undead. And that has some perks, but it's got some downsides because not everyone likes the undead and maybe all your wounds didn't close visibly. But you can come back and continue your adventure with your party to try and finish whatever it is that's keeping you around. And some necromancers can potentially bring those back as untethered for a period of time, but you will be not around forever.
Can you talk about how it is that the untethered species integrates with the species that your person was during life?
So you have all the things you had in life, but then you get a couple more, like a weakness to certain materials because, iron. But you also have a better vision because you see the necromantic energies all around you, life and death energy, which is this energy of you'll see all around you. D&D Beyond compatibility, we're actually chatting with some people to try and help people who do use D&D Beyond have the ability to use it on their platforms. We're on a couple VTTs. We're not on D&D Beyond yet, but it is something we're in talks with certain people about. And if this
we will
is
always
successful,
try to find a way, if it's good for our IP, without selling rights or things like that, we will always try to find a way to get it to you guys in a way where you can more easily integrate it into your games.
Yes. I've been chatting a bunch. Caitlin, it's very important to mention... Oh, sorry. That's the one that you wanted to talk about. So
No, it's fine. But can I get a dice and then can we roll one of these? Do you have it available?
I don't right here. I have to leave the room for like 2 minutes.
Well, I'd have to leave the room to get the dice.
Let's skip. So we've got a D100 chart. Once upon a time, we were playing a game called Dark Dice. And hi, Return to Sender. You've missed. We're at 4,000 apparently USD.
USD. Let's see.
Which is getting us closer to feeding Ezo, another treat. Speechless Bard. Hey.
Not 4,000 on the Euro side yet, so Ezo has
close.
to wait. We can't let him eat too many too fast because then he'd be chunky.
Yes.
He'd be a chunky boy.
And he likes running. So we had this person roll a critical hit, and we thought it would be funny if they rolled on a chart that I put together. And lo and behold, they rolled a 100. And it was the end of someone's adventure because it was a joke that went too far. There are other things in this chart, and they're supposed to help you reduce your stress. They're supposed to there's literally 100 options on a D100 chart of these critical things, hits that you can inflict upon others that are really cool. Scarring enemies. You can leave them with a very vicious scar. You can limit their movement. You can get extra attacks. There are a lot
Scar them just in time to kill them.
Yes. Or cause other people around you to be terrified by your amazingness. Or your weapon becomes legendary and it's now the fiend of whatever you just hit. There are some really cool options within this. It was largely fueled by our Patreon supporters, helping us make and break and rebuild this list till it was pretty awesome.
And a super, super shout out to all of our Patreon supporters who also helped playtest a lot of this stuff for us, because we playtested when we could. We went and actually played a couple of these games multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
We've had people at tables of ours playtest live with us.
Every time we go to D&D in the castle.
Yeah.
This
True
is
Necromancer class. And we've rigorously tested this. Not to say there aren't going to still be maybe one or two issues.
I don't think so.
But we're working on it.
Our editor's gone through this book 40
we've gone
times.
through it so many times now.
And we have 16 more passes of looking for there versus there versus there versus which versus which versus which.
And now with this one out, we have a few more changes that we're going to be making to make sure that is compatible with both versions, so people can make sure that this book moves from one generation into the next.
Yes, and it will be backwards compatible with 5th edition. Let's clarify that. It's really important to mention. If you do play 5th ed, you will be at home. You'll just wonder why we formatted monsters in a way that's easier to read. So it's not the end of the world. And if you've never played D&D, that's also totally fine. This is a great place to start. The rules for the core book are available right now on D&D Beyond, and you can jump in real easy. This is intended, in fact, for first-time DMs to run. I don't want to say railroady, but it can be if you want it to be really easily, which is fun because you don't have to read as much. Just like
early access to a PDF.
Now,
what does that mean exactly?
You're probably thinking, I'm kickstarting this thing. It says it's going to take how long to get this thing printed? We're not able to print this until March because the monster manual doesn't come out until February, and we want 30 days to just make final edits before we print it and do the final PDF. But we're going to get you guys an early copy. So if you join our Kickstarter and you back it and you're a backer of our Kickstarter, you'll get an early copy as soon as the Kickstarter's over. We're using a thing called Backer Kit. You have to fill out the form. It's important. Otherwise, you don't know what email to send it to. And you'll get your digital PDF. It's not going to be super fancy formatting because we're going to go through a couple more passes.
Early access, guys.
It's the early access DLC, but it's also been play tested a bunch of times, and you're also getting a lot of stuff. And it's basically the book.
So we have gone over the 4,000 euro mark, which means it's time for another tiny treat for the pupper.
He's going to be spoiled.
Just a little one.
You guys are incredible.
Just a little one.
You guys are incredible. Thank you so much.
That light just went out.
The light went out. Let me fix that. How do I do that?
You want this? Okay, let me move the book.
Oh, now we have the creepy backlighting.
The creepy?
The creepy backlighting.
All right. Do you want this? Can you come here?
Up. Oh!
The answer was yes. The answer was yes. The answer was yes. Do you want it to be good? Do you want more treats? More treats?
He does. He wants more treats, guys. I don't know what to do, but thank you. We are continuing on our little list here.
Expanded rules for stress and sanity.
Caitlin, I was going to actually give this one to you, even though you're taking a drink, because I think this is one you can speak to quite well. We started off with this idea of an extra attribute. So strength, dex, con, charisma, wisdom, intelligence, and
sanity. It is the ability score that we've added due to the fact that we love to play with people's stress, people's minds, and their own personal nightmares. So your stress is a kind of, can I say a kind of damage, Travis?
I wouldn't use the phrase damage, but
stress is what you can amass.
It's a threshold.
Yes. And when you reach certain thresholds, usually for us, we work by 50, 100, 150, don't get to 200. And by doing these things, we can then play with how it is that we, as the DMs, give information to our players. So let's say you have a relatively high sanity ability score. Your modifier would reflect in the same way that an ability modifier works off of any other ability score. And you would have to roll whenever we said that there was a sanity check or a sanity saving throw.
And they're detaching it from wisdom for a reason, right? Because characters that are wisdomatic might be scared of cats, right? If you're really good at perceiving things, if you're really good at like street smarts, you're still are probably going to be terrified when you see undead. I would be terrified if I saw real undead in real life. You would see me freezing up and running and probably being like,
I wouldn't say that you're wise anyways.
But potentially, what if I was, right? I know people who are. So this detaches it from the default, and it fits in with your point buy system. So it's not naturally helpful for certain characters unless you specialize in it. It's meant to be a great equalizer of sorts.
And I believe that we've included rules on how to integrate it into the point buy system, how to integrate it into just a normal array.
Yep.
So add on the sanity ability score to your game, and then you can also add in stress, which means you can start to play with the kind of information that you are giving people and the way that they interact and see the world. Let's
talk about that. So the unreliable narrator is a trope, air quotes trope. It's a storytelling mechanic.
It's a tool.
It's a tool. It's a really good tool that can be a lot of fun around a table, especially if it's Halloween, especially if your table is there to be scared a bit and have a fun time. You, the DM, or your DM, can use this to give the players unreliable information because their stress is too high and it's too dark and they're not seeing things properly. So when they're there to rescue the children and they're trying to find these children, is it the children? Did one of them just smile at you and snicker and, whisper something quite evil?
Or when they receive a note, because maybe they're the only person who's part of a noble class. They receive the note from someone, and it is up to how stress-induced they are as to whether or not they believe they should actually share the contents of that note with their team, or perhaps give them false information instead. These kinds of things.
And as stress rises, the campaign can get more dangerous for all involved, including that character. So it's overall a fun mechanic that when you lean in and say like, oh, my character's got a flaw. What's the flaw? And then they're really leaning into their flaw because their stress is quite high. This is something that makes it quite enjoyable. The multicultural influences. Okay, so someone, The Color Yes, says, I've read your Patreon preview of the True Necromancer class. One of the things I really appreciated about it was the multicultural influences in designing this class. What was your favorite non-Western influence on the design of this class? If I can say it's Eastern, there's a book. What's the name of the book? There's a couple of people. James Mendel Hodes does a lot of really great articles, who's written a lot of articles that are fantastic on death and lineage, and also has done some really great work on Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I'm getting distracted. Let's go with Tasman Muir's series, Gideon the Ninth. That's just a really fun one. It's from Australia, so it's not technically Eastern, not technically Western. It is Western. Curses.
I think one of the things that we did try to do,
Hodes.
as he discussed earlier, was when it came to certain things about the undead that are generally classified as being part of an overwhelmingly westernized but not originatingly Western culture, like the idea of a zombie, we decided that we didn't want to associate with the idea of a zombie, and instead we made them into the corpse servant because there's such a strong cultural tie to what it means to be a zombie.
The scariest part about fighting a zombie isn't the fact that you're fighting the undead. Mm-hmm. It's that this was a person. This was someone's grandmother. This was someone's uncle. They were living before they died and became this creature, which is undead and back. And that's really what we're trying to drive home. There were some really cool influences from a lot of movies we've watched. Inhuman Kiss was a fun one. That just is a different idea of what a vampire could be. We also have watched incalculable hours on Netflix and other streaming platforms of just a lot of Eastern horror that we've really dived into and enjoyed, especially surrounding the undead and rituals. And
that's also just because we watch a lot of horror.
But it influences guessed, right? It influences what we make, I think, in a lot of ways, which is quite nice. We also have a thing called Surgeon's Kits. So kits are playing a bigger influence and role in the new Player's Handbook. So you can use kits to build things. You can use kits to interact more than just once a campaign. You can use it to build healing potions. You can use it to make your environment different, create objects that are useful as a party. And as a result, we've got a Surgeon's Kit. Because
are we really 50% funded already?
Check. I don't believe this.
I think so.
What?
Going back up. Nope, I did the wrong thing.
That was the wrong scroll.
Slide.
Let's do math.
No, that's correct. Look.
We're 50% funded. Holy cow.
Okay, I don't have anything for 50% funded. Like, here, have a drink of my Radler.
Da, 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 da. Guys, thank you, all of you, for helping us get to the 50% mark on this funding. This is incredible. You know, we will talk about stretch goals if we,
Drink your drink so I can drink my drink.
We'll get into that in a moment. We still haven't got to the things that are included in this adventure. So we've got nightmares and special encounters for when the Silent One is near. When you try and sleep, there's a creature called the Silent One, a saint to some if saints were feared and never loved. And our lovely Silent One heckles you while you sleep. He gets into your mind. He gets into your dreams. And we've made quite a few different nightmares for people. We've made quite a few different ways that you'll wake up to terrible instances if you fall asleep on watch. Ways that he might pull you away from watch. Ways that he might influence your mind on watch. Random encounters while you try and sleep. Watch. He doesn't want you to sleep. Like Santa Claus, he's awake. He knows when you're awake.
Because we have the sanity and the stress, we've also created we will actually be designing a new character sheet that will include the ability to input that score, both the accumulated stress and the new ability score, on the sheet. So it's all there in front of you. And we are looking forward to that because we actually are working with an artist to help create those character sheets. We have not seen them yet, and I'm very excited.
Also, thank you, Chris. Chris, lovely dungeon master, game master, who we met over at D&D in the Castle. Like, I feel like everyone we met there was really just very helpful toward us. Like, we want to do this thing, and they're like, here's how you can do this thing. And now here we are doing the thing, and it's really... well, here's the thing. Someone said Friday the 13th. We do have some stuff happening on Friday the 13th to promote this. We can't talk about that though because it's a secret and it's on the Dark Dice podcast feed, waiting for you on Friday the 13th when you listen. If you do listen, some things might be very different.
I had to learn this is the first. Okay, so on the cards on the table, Travis has done Kickstarters before for Liberty. If you guys remember the Liberty series that we also used to create.
Yes. We still create.
But this is the first time that I've created a Kickstarter alongside Travis and actually put something that I've helped create out into the world. And apparently September is like Kickstarter season.
Oh, yes.
Kickstarter has a season.
Oh, yes. There's like some that I even want to back, and I'm like, oh, these are amazing. Oh, I need money. I'm a podcaster.
You can't just turn all that stuff around. You can't be like, I got Kickstarter money, go back into Kickstarter.
There are some really good ones, but yeah, I know what you mean. It's the season though. It's begun and it's now, and then tax season. They come back in April. So this is.
So that was that was an overview of what's included in this. There are more things that are going to be included, and all of the amazing artwork that I hope you guys are super excited for. Because for me, as a visual person, when I'm going through a book, and the idea of, can I turn this around and show this person to my players? Can I show the depiction of this monster? Should I show them the depiction of this monster before or after they've killed it and decided what it was on their own? But yes, loving the artwork that we've had already created. We still have more that's coming in all the time, and it is looking fantastic. And we are working with an amazing company to actually make the printing happen. Who are we working with?
We are co-publishing this with Nord Games, who are the creators of some really great content. They just ran a Kickstarter very recently that was quite successful, and we're happening right now, and they've got some other things in the back burner that they're very excited about. Chris and the team have been a blast to work with, and if you've seen advertisements for the Kickstarter in advance, we can thank Viviana, not the character, but from the Nord team, who's been helping us get the word out in advance, just getting people excited for this to happen, which is the day, and helping us hit half our goal in under 30 minutes, which is unbelievable. And that is also largely thanks to you guys who are making this possible. It is unreal.
So we have over 275 pages of content. We have over 150 amazing pieces of artwork that help bring this to life. We have a catalog of monsters and NPCs that help fill our world with terrors. What is it that someone can have as an add-on, and what are the tiers for our Kickstarter?
So our tiers are 25.
Oh, we're over the
What?
next one.
What?
Izo needs another treat.
Izo, you're going to be spoiled. Izo,
No, not yet! I have to break it in
Gotta
half.
be broken in
Otherwise,
half.
it's going to get too chunky. There we go. You want this one?
It's like a little
Can you
snake.
come a little further? Wait, okay, I know what I'm going to
It's
do.
like a little snake.
Travis, move.
Oh, I'm
Travis, move.
moving.
Yeah.
I'm moving. Okay, I have to get off. Okay.
Izo, can you come up here? All the way up?
Oh, no.
Come up.
You're just getting the back of the dog.
Okay, we'll do that next time, but we'll do it the other way around.
If we have the next time, we will do it the other way. That was really awesome. That was quite cute.
You made a little sound. It's adorable.
Hey, little guy. Is that all right? Did you have some good food? Yes,
Was
you
that
did.
a good treat?
Is this confusing why we're in a room in the basement with a bunch of lights? Talking to a screen? Yes, I understand. It's okay. They're real.
We
just
talk
like
to
us.
screens all day.
Yes. We
This
usually,
is not the weird part. We almost never get to be in this part of the house, though. So
It's the quiet part of the house.
Yeah.
It's the studio room.
Well,
So-
I'm usually never in here because I don't work down here.
Moving on. We've got a $25 digital. So, like, let's
Yes,
say
let's talk about tiers. Sorry.
you don't want a physical book, right? For reasons whatever, you've got a bookshelf. You don't have a bookshelf, or you've got a full bookshelf. 25 gets you a digital copy. That's really cool, and it's going to have alt text, and it'll have all the tabs that you want in a digital version of our book. Next up, for 50, you can get a physical copy of the book. That is a hardcover copy of the book. It's going to be probably right around 300 pages. We're saying 275 plus, again, if formatting or whatever.
Let's get hardcovers.
We are using a bunch of really ethical print practices that you can read about at the bottom of our Kickstarter page. We're not shrink wrapping it. We're making sure that it's durable with the materials themselves to last a lifetime, and we're using the proper book binding. We also have, for $62 USD, you get the digital and the physical book together, both of them delivered to you.
That
And we
was
have
62.
62. And thank you all for backing so much. We also have
Let's bring it to life.
a couple of other things to
Summon from
mention
the grave.
mention for you. Yes, from the grave and beyond. There's some wicked magic items in there, by the way. Some really cool ones that I'm excited for you all to get to use.
And because Travis is Travis and he has to have something related to sound, at the $80 level, you get 2 additional pieces. You not only get the digital PDF and the hardcover edition, but you also get a 14-track soundtrack
Yep.
to go along with the game, and
Orchestral soundtrack with hurdy-gurdy.
and some battle maps to go with the game.
Yes. We are very excited for the battle maps. They're something that's been in high demand, and we are working on them right now, actually. We also have 2 other add-ons that are available. So any pledge level, you can add these things for... Oh, you passed it. That's
You
good.
know them off the top of your
I
head.
don't know them off the top of my head.
Okay, one of them is Make a Monster for $666.
Yes. For $666, you get the ability to design a monster with us. What does that mean? Like, we will
Make a
have to make a monster.
Come on, use that alliteration.
We will work... Oh, someone from Voidbrush. Yes, Voidbrush has made so much of art, including the cover. Hope you like the cover art by Voidbrush. So we'll make a monster, we'll design it with you, and then we will work with one of our artists, possibly Voidbrush, possibly KC Bailey, possibly Marcel Buttle. We've got a couple people that we regularly work with to make scary monsters, and boy do they make scary monsters. And we make this artwork for your monster, which will go in the book. And then we also have another thing that goes with it as well, which is an STL.
So if you have your own personal nightmare that you would like to help unleash on other people, the people who get the book, then yeah, go ahead and pick up that add-on, and that way we can create a monster with you, fill the book with even more fantastic, terrifying art, and then get your monster on other people's tables.
Yes, and that is that's really the goal with this, is to scare people. We all want to work together and scare people and make pretty art and monsters. And for $666, what's not to like? It's perfect for Halloween. And then you get to play, you get the digital version, maybe not of your monster in time, unless you work really fast. Which
Yeah,
might
remember, this
happen.
one comes with an STL file, which means that you can have it digitally printed, and then you can actually put the monster on your table.
Physically printed.
Well, yeah, sorry.
Yes,
I
the
meant
digital
it's like
file
a
for
3D
the-
printer.
Yes. I don't know how to 3D print very well,
My bad.
but I know that you can print it with your STL file.
The other one at a little bit less than that is the $500 add-on level, and that is to create an NPC to place into our nightmarish world, because apparently not only do people enjoy listening to people suffer, but they want to create people so that they can additionally suffer.
This one's limited. The monsters, we're open to making as many monsters as people will help us unleash upon the world. But because the story Domain of the Nameless God is notable for having very few NPCs, we wanted to make sure that we don't overdo it. So we've capped it. There's a very limited number. And we will have art by Kara E., who has done all of the character bios that you will see in Domain of the Nameless God.
Yes.
It's very good. If you check out their stuff, you'll be like, that they could draw my character. And yes, they could draw your character. So we'll explore what their flaws are, what their fears are.
Thank you, Return Descendo, for the streamed and gift subs. But if you can't support on the Kickstarter, then supporting us on Twitch or supporting us in any other way is also freaking amazing. Thank you so much. Seriously.
Absolutely.
It's us and our puppy and then the amazing artists who help bring this to life, because neither of us are very good with a Wattpad.
Yes. We'll also we'll clarify this is separate from our Patreon in entirety, because this is to bring a book to life and physically print some things.
Yes.
And it's
working
not,
with a physical publisher. Again, I'm just holding this one because I like holding hardcover
nice book.
books.
and
And soon I'll get to hold our own hardcover book.
Yes, which we're very excited for. We have stretch goals in mind. We will.
I don't like tempting fate.
I don't like tempting fate.
like
I'm
tempting
nervous.
fate.
I'm nervous. I will say I'm a sound designer. I make really good ambiances. We have found some really cool add-ons we can do for the books. We've talked about in the past we've done things like alternate covers, but those are expensive to do and interesting. And but those are some options. We also heard there's a thing you can do with books. It's kind of cool. Did you know that these pages don't have to be white? They can be other colors, like black. That's
With
pretty
your
metal.
help, we can make our necromantic tome a little bit more
Dark.
necromantic.
So we've got ideas. We've got some pretty cool things. We've been talking with people on the internet who specialize in making things.
So we're talking not only with our publisher about what it is we can do to make the book itself, the physical object of a tome, a hardcover tome, more amazing, but we also have been looking into things that we can do once we know that we have the financial security to invest more time into creating more content for everyone.
Yeah, and on the topic of someone asked if there were dark elves in this book.
Ooh, our elves are weird.
We have weird elves. We have actually quite a few elves. Some of them are dark. I wouldn't describe them as dark elves, but actually, Jeff Goldblum's character is in this book. Balmer. He's a friendly guy, and he's one of our new NPCs who
Wait,
I love.
did we give him one at 6 yet?
No. Holy cow.
Izo gets another one. Okay, so
Okay.
he's gonna come this side.
Guys,
move that
this
thing.
is unbelievable.
Move that thing.
I'm going to move our green screen.
Move
Hold
that
on.
thing.
I was expecting the green screen, which is like,
Ooh.
the background looks okay.
Izo, come here.
And then,
Travis, you go over there.
Yep.
Izo, come here.
Ooh, how's that cute little nose?
Sit. Okay, Izo, you are on the camera now. You have to say things.
Do you seek a dog?
All right, good boy.
Here you go.
He gets his little treat. And
Okay, can you get down
thank you,
now?
little guy.
I need my seat back. Thank you, sweetie.
This is incredible. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sweetie pie.
is
You love
absolutely-
this. You're like, do more of these things.
Yeah, we're... So what did we get? I'm still like,
Okay, wait,
my
wait.
brain is just trying to catch up.
Where'd that?
We're
Okay.
2/3 of the way
Let's make a
there.
book.
Let's make a book. Holy cow. So, yeah, we've got a lot of new NPCs. We've got lots of darkness, lots of abilities, and lots of things. We also could potentially expand things like the soundtrack, maybe, if we had such an interest in such a stretch goal. We've got options. We've got things and guest composers waiting in the wings. And also...
That almost rhymed. That rhymed.
It did rhyme.
Things, wings.
Things, wings.
Wings.
Wingdings.
Yeah.
There was one other interesting thing there too. I can't name drop anyone, but we might also be working on some other STL related things potentially, if that were of interest and if that were a stretch goal with people you might have heard of. So stuff.
So we would love to hear from you guys. Please let us dog barking clipped. Thank you so much for clipping. I thought Return to Sender was going to bed. Thank you for sticking around long enough to clip it. But okay, let's hear from you guys. We have people on our YouTube stream, people on our Twitch stream, and people on our Instagram stream. All of you here, we can see all of the things that you have. At what tier do we get Ezo as a playable character?
I don't want to put him in there. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous game.
We could make him like one of the dogs of the gods, so he's technically immortal.
That would be possible. That's negotiable. That's negotiable. We could figure that out. I'm game. Another thing to mention is we have other books we've been working on. So if this is really successful, we could potentially follow this up pretty.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Marcel. We're mentioning you, Marcel, our artist, who's been sending us some horrifically gruesome designs, even in the last day of new monsters that we're working on to fill this book with.
I got so confused because my name shortens to KS, and I kept seeing people say KS, and I thought it was Caitlin Stats. I thought it was me. It means Kickstarter.
Yes, KS means Kickstarter.
I was so confused.
Kickstarter is not a name we've said in this household in a very long time.
So
but we're very
since we lived in America.
Since we lived in America.
Since we were Americans.
Except backing Kickstarters, because we do that occasionally.
Yeah, we do back
we don't. We haven't made one in forever. But we have other stuff we're working on, and with these things we are working on, we could potentially make more of them rather quickly and rather easily. Some of them could be pretty close to done, I dare say, and already play tested and already artwork on some of them.
We've actually play tested, written, created monsters, NPCs, and a whole bunch for things that have not come out yet, podcasting wise.
Yes.
The reason that we are now able to release Unnatural Horrors is because we have put this content through rigorous testing. We have played it ourselves, we have run it ourselves, we have created these characters ourselves, had other people create them, and they have been released on our podcasting feed. And by having released it on the podcasting feed, we know that there are people out there who also have said that they wanted to play through our world, which, first of all, huge ego boost.
Yes, yes.
But thank you guys so much for everything so far. Somebody said that we are at... Oh, hi. Stuffside Studios. Hello. We are at 70% funded already for this, which is freaking amazing.
Unbelievable.
So, like Travis said, if we can get the first Dark Dice book out into the world, it would be just that. It would be, hopefully, the first of multiples.
And the reason we're also like capping it around 300 pages is because 300 pages is a pretty good size for a book.
This is like 380.
This is 370, but like, yeah, for printing costs and physically shipping them out, if you go over like 300, it becomes problematic for people who aren't printing 20,000 copies of a book, which is a bit pricey. 300 is kind of the price break, so that's where it fits really well for us to be able to make the thing and get it to you and ship it to you and have you receive it and have it fit nicely and open quite levelly. Levelly? That's not a phrase. What other stuff do we have to
I just
mention
have a
here?
hard time getting this thing to do what I want on my iPad. Sorry.
It's okay. And yes, what other exciting stuff though are we able to talk about? Can we talk about things? There's the alternate Ilmater's Hope. So if you're familiar with Ilmater's Hope, it's a village in the middle of nowhere. If you're wondering how to fit this adventure into your existing campaign, well, it's really easy. Do you have a forest? It goes in a forest, and it's a village no one's ever heard of because it's so small. And that's basically the adventure. That's what you need. That's what you need. A forest that no one wants to go to because it's small. Like that's it fits quite easily. But there are two different versions of the village and different casts of characters that you can mix, match, or keep one or the other, different timelines, and it's easy to navigate, and they're explained very in a straightforward way. So you'll also find all of the cast of Dark Dice Season 1 in the story now. Previously, some of the heroes were not there. Some of them are now appearing in unexpected ways.
With new updated artwork.
With new updated artwork, yes, which I'm very proud of. It looks great. We also have another villain, a new guy, who might be waiting for you in those woods. His name is Hugo, and he would love to meet you. He's a bit of a berserker. He's got a thing with ravens and crows and birds, and he's got a big axe to grind.
Don't give everything away.
That's it. Just that's all I can say. But the artwork is quite brutal, and I'm excited for it too. And again, more demigods, more monsters, more NPCs that are stuck in time or out of time or all the in-between, and demi-plane locations with lots of things that attach to them.
So, from my perspective, as someone who hasn't done a Kickstarter for some of their own content before, we have helped support Kickstarters in the past for people that we absolutely love, for books that we wanted, specifically books for our games that we're going to be playing, that were like, man, they've made this thing so much. I don't want to like give away what we're going to be doing in our next campaign, so I'm just going to chill it here and say, man, the way that they did this thing makes so much sense. I'm glad I supported them, and now we get to create something, and I really feel like, I hope someone feels that way about what we do.
Yes.
I hope someone takes like maybe like our version of sanity and stress and just rolls with it and terrorizes their players for the rest of the entire time they play D&D.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kick you.
You can kick me as much as you'd like, because we are kickstarting.
Oh,
That was terrible.
I'm so sorry.
We just lost like 13.
I'm so sorry.
13 people just dropped viewership. They're gone. They're never coming back. But we do have a really great soundtrack. I know I was mentioning it earlier. We have Stephen Millen on it. We've got Enzo Pizzovio, Brandon Boone, who worked on Slay the Princess. We knew him before he was famous. The soundtrack is now like up for a lot of awards. And we are just so thrilled to share our spooky sounds with you too. And it's made for this very adventure.
Marcel, you see 7,000 on your side, but we actually see it in euro, which means we don't see 7,000 yet. But when we do,
we're very close.
We will be giving the doggo some more Cheetos.
We just passed 6,666 euros. And if we can get like a couple more backers, I think it's like 4 more backers, this dog will
But
get
we
a
have
treat.
over 100 backers already.
What? I didn't even register. What? Did anybody do the monsters?
I can't tell the add-ons.
How do I tell?
Here. I don't know.
How do I tell?
Do I go here?
Maybe. I don't know. I wanna know. Okay. We're learning. Nope. That's. It doesn't look as good in euros because it's not 666.
Oh yeah, it doesn't look like 666 in euros.
I feel bad. Most of our audience is probably.
You know, if you popped over to your actual laptop, you'd be able to
Okay,
tell.
friends, I'll be right back. I'm going to find a number and find out because I'm really curious if we're making monsters.
You're stuck with me now. And Iso. Hey, come here. Iso. Because I don't have a treat. You want this? It's a lie. But okay, he's popped over to go see if anybody has done any of the add-ons so we can talk about the add-ons a little bit more. If you guys have any questions about the Kickstarter or about any of the other things that we create, because while we are here to talk about the Kickstarter, we also create the podcast, the main reason that the Kickstarter and our content exists. We also did receive this as a promotional piece from D&D, from Dungeons & Dragons, and we will be running our first personal campaign in 5.5. And we're very excited for it. And once we run our own personal campaign, we can start including things into our hopeful podcast campaigns in the future as well. I'm very excited. I am going to be playing a ranger, which I've never played before. What are we looking at, Travis?
I think we do have a monster. We have a monster.
We have a monster!
We have a monster. I think we might have an NPC. 1 second.
Okay, we have at least a monster.
Yes, we have a monster and an NPC.
We have both a monster and an NPC. Let's make a monster!
Let's make a monster. I'm super excited. I'm wondering what creature.
What is your favorite creature you created in this book?
Okay, that's a very good question. There are a lot of them. Okay, like what's your favorite color? Oh man, they're all good. Like,
I have a favorite color.
You have a favorite color. Of course you do. Okay. That's not the Corpse Gorger because that's a fun, disgusting one. I know
which one I like.
Which one do you like? Oh, just talk about them. Yeah, they're okay. Talk about them.
I like the massive hands.
There's this piece of artwork that someone made. We have a friend. His name is Florian. He plays a character named Yara who looks like Florian. And it's easy to find photos of Florian because he's our friend on Facebook. And the artist knows this. So he's like, let me draw these monsters murdering something. And it's always Florian getting murdered by monsters. So we're like, can you draw a swarm of crawling severed hands that look indistinguishable from normal hands, normal severed hands if they're just not moving.
Hello, dead toothbrush. Okay, continue.
Hey, it's Backwater. Look, hey, friends.
Thank you.
So it's a bunch of hands attacking our friend Florian, who looks like he's not having a good day.
So I chose mine. What's yours?
the Silent Faithful, but they're old. They're an oldie.
Oldie and a goodie.
They're a bunch of crazy cult people who want to share their blood with you by stabbing you while they're also bleeding on you, and then you might join them one day.
Remember to go to Kickstarter.com and look
I thought you were
for
going to say remember to go to a
unnatural
doctor. Remember to see your doctor if you're infected with the blood of the Silent Faithful.
Kickstarter.com and search for Unnatural Horrors.
Yes, Kickstarter.com for Unnatural Horrors. We're getting close to closing out the hour. If we could do it with just a few more backers, Izo gets a treat. We're hope he's staring at us very intently.
So
he
knows. Because we literally have the jar of treats on the desk as well, and he can see it because he's a pretty tall dog. So when he actually sits down, his head can rest on the table, so he can just stare directly at his food / treats / anything he feels like wanting.
There's a monster that's my favorite, and it's actually the one we did the art of. It's the Cheshire Beast.
Cheshire Beast, yeah.
The Cheshire Beast is this weird creature of nightmares that one would think of. And the art is directly in the Kickstarter, directly above our breakdown of what the costs are, and it looks
we should talk about
gruesome.
What the costs are.
Oh, we could do that too before
we can talk about our budget
before
breakdown.
we log out.
You only want to do it an hour? I thought we were on this thing.
Well, whatever we're on, we're gonna hopefully let's see what we can do.
I have no other plans for tonight.
You know what? You're probably right. So let's keep it entertaining.
Okay, so let's talk about our, I guess, budget breakdown. Is that entertaining? Do you guys care? We made a pie chart, so if you really want to see it, there's a pie chart.
I wanted to say one thing about the Cheshire Beast.
Please.
It's a really silly rule. He takes double damage from imaginary weapons. It makes a lot of sense if you know the lore and the background stuff. So like, if he's fighting a little kid with a stick, he's doomed. But if he's fighting like a player character, he's probably not. And the players are doomed.
And you can see the art already of the Cheshire Beast. It is actually the monster art that we use as our example art piece for monsters on the Kickstarter. So go and check it out again, Kickstarter, and search for Unnatural Horrors.
Guys, we're 3/4 funded. I think we can actually do this.
Okay, somebody asked what time it is for us. It is
almost
about 7 p.m. About 3 minutes to 7 p.m.
Yes, Nizo's very excited about what's happening. Now, we had another thing to mention is our budget breakdown. Budgets are a very interesting thing, and we have also it was done by Voidbrush. A lot of Void's fans are here, and Void is a lovely artist. And again, there's so many artists. Jason Sean Alexander from Spawn did a bunch of pieces for this. I can't tell you how excited I am about Jason being a part of this project. And Wayne Reynolds, who does the Pathfinder art, has actually did the Silent Faithful piece for us. Alan Morris did pieces that have actually won awards for this, of certain characters dying.
So what we're saying is, the book will be gorgeous.
Yes, we can't wait to share it with you. And sorry, I get excited about art and passionate. So the costs. There's a pie chart on our Kickstarter page, which you could see if you're there, and if you're not, that's okay. We'll talk about it.
The largest piece of the pie, 43% of the pie
goes to
artwork.
That's important. And we're not using any AI for this project at all. None, zero, zilch. It's all actual art drawn by hand. A lot of pieces. Some artists are traditional.
We have a mix of both digital and traditional artists, including a couple of actual oil paintings.
I said his name and Voidbrush just rated us. What?
No, don't
There's a party of 54 artists here. Right. 54 Void fans. Those of you joining us, hello, welcome. We are fans of Voidbrush, and we are trying to make more art with Voidbrush. So help us do this, because the cover is done by this lovely artist. There's a lot of monsters. There are some NPCs. Did you know that Void also draws people and giants and really creepy things?
We have another question on the Instagram that says, does this have the original campaign in it? And then they talk about how they were able to print a PDF version because they probably were a supporter or they bought a PDF earlier. This is an updated version of Domain of the Nameless God, in addition to so many other pieces from our podcasting world.
The Word document started at 30 pages. The Patreon version got up to 60 pages. This is 200 pages of just that. So I think you're in for a treat and a few treats, and a lot of pretty artwork by these lovely people. So we were literally just saying 43% of our budget is for artwork, because that's where it should be going. That's absolutely where it should be going.
Yes.
Our other big part of the pie chart, 30% goes to
Printing.
because the print's got to be good. We don't
Yes.
want to print a crappy soft cover thing that's not going to survive the shipping. Hardcover ships well. We have experience doing graphic novels in hardcover.
And when you're playing a game and you're playing as the DM and you just want your book to sit, you don't want
And
floppy pages. Come on.
yes,
You want like an actual hardcover tome in front of you that makes it feel like you're about to unleash some terrors on some people.
we have some experience working in printing, so we're making sure that the paperweight feels right. It sits right. It's very the layout is done in a professional quality that you're used to in the standard that you, of course, expect from creators like us. Also, we have some cool embossing and things happening on the cover that, again, being finalized, but we have an idea of what we want to do. And if we do alternate covers, there would be also some really alternate, creepy, fun
I'm trying to think of what I would want as an alternate cover.
Oh, I imagine like a black tome with a seal of the nameless god and like some creepy stuff like lettering on there and just looks evil. And then like the black
like
pages.
embossing instead of artwork? I mean, embossing can be artwork. The
embossed,
designs
like
or
a
the artwork.
seal.
But like a difference.
Yeah. Like you'd have a different text, and then like the red, it would just be red, and the red would like glow, like the reflective kind of like
Well, not glow. It would be
metallic.
reflective. It would be like metallic.
Yeah, that'd be really creepy.
Okay. What
Thank
is
you,
the
friends.
next cost? The next one is 12%. And 12% of that actually goes back to the realm of the digital stuff, which is the Kickstarter.
It goes to
The
Kickstarter
Kickstarter and backer kit fees.
and also Stripe.
Yes.
It's a bit variable. It's not a hard 12%, but it's around there, and that will cover that very important stuff.
Next at 11, we have formatting and editing.
Our editor is one of the coolest people in this project. Navigator Lawson is a hero and a saint, and Kai Linder, similarly so. The two of them make these books great.
And the remaining percentage is going to be used to advertise.
As what? We hit a number. We hit the number.
7.
In time.
We're at 7.
In time.
We're at 7.
In time.
Okay.
Okay, we have to do something really special with Izo.
Izo up.
Let's.
Hold it.
I wasn't ready.
He's a 37 kilogram dog.
Okay.
Up.
I'm sorry, boy. It's safe now. It's safe.
Sit. Stay.
Everyone watching should join the Discord, by the way. We have a Discord. It's fun. And we tell scary stories. That's a good boy. All right. And good catch. Good catch. Free.
Good job.
Ugh. He's happy.
Every time we hit €1,000 mark, we've been giving Izo a very small treat. We don't want him getting too many treats in a single day, but he is very excited about every single one of them nonetheless. So he is very intent on staying right next to us during this entire live stream.
I will add a couple more things to you guys. Just that. I forgot where I was going with this. No, there was a response to something. 2 a.m. Really appreciate it. Oh no, I forgot where I was going with my brain. My brain is just gone.
If anybody remembers where Travis was going with his
Yes, I do
brain.
know it was going. So if you also want to hear like what the adventure is kind of like, you can hear the Dark Dice podcast. It's got voice actors, including Jeff Goldblum, as part of the story, and it's voice acted in sound effects and spooky.
I thought he was going to say me.
Including Caitlin, who's in
so mean.
the adventure. She's. But yeah, it's quite.
No,
fun.
we have Jeff Goldblum. There we go.
People know Jeff. They're just joining us for the first time. They don't know who we are, and it's a big. It can be inspiring. It can be fun. You can hear some of the music ahead of time too, and say, I like this track. I'm excited to use this at my table.
Do you want to pop on over there again and see if we have any additions?
I could do that. Be right back.
All right. Yes. So our dog's name is Izo, by the way. Those of you on the Twitch can actually use the little Izo emote. And Izo has been the ampersand in Fool and Scholar since the beginning. And yeah. So now Travis is going to go check to see if we have any additions. So what? So he's going to check to see if we have any more monsters.
No monsters yet. Just one.
Just the one monster. Perfect so far. Ha ha ha.
Some of these people.
Travis is very enthused because he can see the list of names.
I know some of you.
But you can't say that on stream.
I know some of you. No, they're people from our Patreon. I'm really just.
Oh, hi, CreepyPod. Hi, John.
John. Like we know John. He's here.
But so we are kickstarting our first unnatural horrors D&D book.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I can't say it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be really
Please
creepy
don't
though.
say that.
It'll be a delightful, fun adventure that you can run, and if you have no idea to.
Sorry,
you
I'm
have
reading
to-
the Twitch one.
I read this Twitch comment and I also thought it was very funny. The Gen Z colleagues were impressed when they heard Lily Pichu, but then when they said, "Oh, Jeff Goldblum's on it too," like, who?
It's a generational thing. Lily's awesome to play with.
It is.
She's pure chaos, and it's wonderful.
And there's artwork of her character, and also Ajay. He's got some necromantic stuff. He's going to be on the pages as well, gracing him with his abilities.
So that's actually a really good segue. If you were done with what you were talking about, is that the story that Lily Pichu is in, and even the story that we are currently releasing, which is, well, no, we're releasing season 2, but season 3, which is also currently at half season mark. Anyways, the one that Lily Pichu is in is our most recent cohort.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And we haven't released any of those books yet. So once we can see whether or not this kind of book can go out into the world and be a success, we can determine if we can get more books out there. And you guys can play your own version of The Sunken Bulwark and The Isle of Silver Shores and some other things that have yet to hit the podcasting realm at all. So we're very excited. Also very nervous.
Yes, we've been freaking out up until this moment. And we're really grateful that we're at the. I don't know how to do percentages. We're at the 7/9 part.
We're at good.
We're at good. We're getting there. We're getting there. We can possibly get there tonight. That would be unbelievable.
But yeah, no, actually, we've had that same issue because we live here in Germany now, and sometimes we're like, oh yeah, we have Jeff Goldblum, and they're like, we have no idea who that is. I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Someone asked about the maps. We do have a couple maps. We actually have quite a few. So we have maps that have been drawn. You'll get copies given to you as well.
Just to clarify, these would be digital copies. You can print them at to the size that you would want for your table. Yes. Additionally, we would have both gridded and non-gridded versions of these maps.
Yes. In most instances.
In most instances.
And then we have battle maps that are separate and intended to be like brought to your table for use of, crushing it and having blood go everywhere. So that's the other piece of it. This is a battle map. It's a battle. You battle at the battle map. That's how the battling goes.
And our computers are like, you should update. And it's like, maybe later.
Maybe later, computer. Thank you. We appreciate your concern.
But okay, what else? If you guys have any questions about the Kickstarter or about our podcast, please go ahead and submit them. Again, we are broadcasting live on all Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram. If you haven't so far, make sure you join our amazing Discord where we will talk about things for the Kickstarter as they are released in the future as well. But if you do back us, you will also get our update emails as updates go out.
Yes.
Our drink is empty.
Our drink is empty. We also have, I did want to say we do have a map of the town, by the way. It's done, it's full color, just saw it today. It looks awesome, and that's quite fun. My brain.
I'm going to do the scrolly thing.
There was a thing that I wanted to say. It was a thing, and it was actually kind of important. Thank you for...
kind of important.
Just kind of important.
Kind of.
Oh yes, Friday. So this Friday is Friday the 13th. For those of you who listen to the podcast, Dark Dice, you might know that Friday the 13th is a weird day. It's one day every Friday the 13th, and it only happens on Friday the 13th.
80%!
80%!
Okay.
High fives. Yeah! And on this mysterious day, things happen. Our feed is different, and it doesn't have the same episodes as every other day of the year. So, in short, when you're listening, things might be different, only just for that day. And if you come back the next day and you're really confused because certain people died and now they're not dead, or other ways around, it's not your sanity slipping. It's a Friday the 13th magic.
Mike on the Instagram asked, if we get the digital copy, will that release sooner than the hardcover? So backers will get it's not a beta version, but it's an early release version that will be available to backers as soon as the Kickstarter is over.
October 10th or 11th. October 11th.
Well, that's the day after the Kickstarter is over. When the Kickstarter is over, and by doing that, we are telling you ahead of time, like, this is the early access. It's not going to have the finalized version of all of the formatting, but it is something that if you want to start running a campaign for the Halloween season before the book can actually reach you, or before the finalized PDF can reach you, then you can actually do that.
Yes, and we are super excited to have those coming up. That will also contain the True Necromancer, all the things that are supposed to be the True Necromancer class. It'll contain Domain of the Nameless God, our critical chart, and all the other things as little PDFs waiting for you. And the final art for our battle maps is still being worked on. We have an amazingly large team working on this.
I would like to point out first that our primary writer for this book has been this man here. This very tired looking man. For those of you watching on the Instagram, they do an auto filter. Thank you, Instagram. For those of you watching on the Twitch and YouTube, we are this pale.
Yes, Instagram does make us look much nicer.
Just look at the difference in the camera views.
I can see the difference in the camera views. Incidentally, go like us on Instagram. I don't know. Or check us out on Twitch to see what we really look like. We look like the undead. But that's why I use the blue filter. Caitlin's like, why do you have a blue filter? I'm like, because the blue light
You want me
makes...
to put the blue filter?
No, leave it. It's too late. They know.
How could it look more blue than this? The artwork is blue. The wall is blue.
Yes. But we also had a lot of contributions by some very important people. Nausicaa Enriquez did a lot of work with us on the True Necromancer, keeping it really legit and creepy. We also had Kai Linder working with us on everything, designing so many spooky things and additions to our books. Caitlin did a lovely job making some of the scariest descriptions you will find. And then, of course, keeping it all together, the glue. Ashley, Navigator, Lawson, the killer editor, are the most important member of the team keeping this thing on the rails.
And as we were saying earlier about... So Travis and I both work as art directors, but we work with an amazing team of artists who make this possible because we had so many ideas and we were working with so many people, and some of them already had such an amazing dock of work that they had to get done this year that we couldn't work with them on more pieces. So we did diversify a lot when it came to the artists that we got to work with. And first of all, super happy that we did because we work with some amazing people. Sorry if you can hear Ezo crying in the background. He really wants more treats. So support us on Kickstarter so we can get to the next marker.
Big question. You've listened to your shows,
yes.
Walt Summer Job, and personal favorites being The White Vault and Tales from the Tower. Is there a difference between supporting on Patreon and Kickstarter?
Different things. So supporting on Patreon means that you're supporting the podcasts and Fool and Scholar as a podcasting company and our ability to continuously create new podcasts.
Our career.
Our career. Ezo, you're so cute, but you have to wait until the next thing because I can't just give you treats. And the Kickstarter is actually supporting this, the creation of this book, the printing of this book.
Yes.
They are different things.
Yes.
Different projects, let's say. Okay?
So we make, in addition to the audio horror we create, we're trying to make books now. And if people like the books, we'll make more of them. And if,
We have a list now.
Oh, we're going to read the list?
Okay, Travis is going to read off the list of just some of the amazing artists that we have worked with already to put art into this book.
I'll do it alphabetically just so no one gets offended. Like Jason Sean Alexander, by last name, works on Spawn and a lot of other amazing projects.
We're going to be here forever if you say
Casey Bailey, who has worked on a lot of stuff with Liberty. If you see anything from Liberty, it's Casey. We've got Brett Bullion, who is quite awesome. James Adam Cartwright.
You missed this one.
I don't know how to say the name properly. Bruce Bernice, who is also a Magic the Gathering artist, has done a lot of lands. James Adam Cartwright, who has worked with us on Liberty, designed a lot of stuff. Yorgos Katronis, who is a fantastic artist on Instagram.
Blake Davis.
Dion Delange from South Africa. Dementula, who made a really creepy Silent One piece. It's a monochrome in red. Erebus Adora, who we can't speak of. Yorsky Hernandez, who does some amazing things as well, did the piece of this skeleton, the skeleton that sits and is just sort of like surrounded by deer and other small woodland critters, like the Disney princess skeleton. You have Jack Holliday, who's also done a lot of magic stuff. Mandy Johnson, who's fantastic. Kara E., who does amazing headshots. Void Brush. Fran Matos, who is really cool. Marcel Mercado, who has he's done a lot of the NPC work as well and characters that you'll see. Felix Mayal, who is like looking at Darkest Dungeon, if it were a webcomic. Mike Pape, who did all the new stuff in the player's handbook for the different species. Alan Morris, who's also done a lot of wizard stuff. Marco Ortiz Walters, who did a really cool piece in the Silent One. Wayne Reynolds, Kessa Relinicki, who you know as the voice of Philgia, Anna Sanchez, who did some really cool pieces on death for us, making death and ancestry connection beautiful and very haunting. Stanislav Sherbakov, who is a deer and works on a lot of monsters for us. Brian Snoddy, who is an old school D&D artist from the 80s, who did that face that you'll see when you see the Sanity stuff. I did a small piece in black and white of a shadow that they insisted on leaving in the book that we might edit out, but we might keep. It depends what you want.
Is it the one?
Yes, it's the one with the shadow.
No.
People thought it was really fun.
No.
Wait, did I not? Did I skip Marcel Buttle for last? I did. I did skip Marcel Buttle for last, who has done so many lovely monsters. And like the design is fantastic. We also have, lastly, one more person, Sam White, in this list. Sam White has done a lot of locational pieces, so you'll see landscapes by Sam, who is another wizard artist. We also have topography by
Cartography.
You
said topography.
Cartography by Tommy Salama and Seth Tomlinson, both of which are fantastic artists and made great work happen. And lastly, STL Sculpting by Depraved Sun, who is a dear friend of ours who makes really cool monsters in 3D. But I believe it might be, we're very, very, very close to hitting this for the next Dogo. Marcel, you are fantastic.
The next Dogo Trito?
We're very close. We are 252 euros away. We're very, very...
Oh, it just went up.
229 euros away. We're getting closer. He's staring. He's staring very intensely.
And he's panting too. So it's real warm in here. I mean, all the lights don't help.
the lights don't help. No, but that is the art team. Most of them. I know I'm missing
some of them.
One or two in there, and I will make sure to include them in the final. But that's, if each one of them did one piece of art, it would be a lot of art. But they've done more than that. I know that. I know that Marcel has done more than 9 pieces for us. I think it's closer to like 20 or 30 at this point, because there are a lot of monsters that we have ideas for. And Casey has done more pieces than I can count. And even Jason has done like 5 pieces for this, or 4 pieces or so. That's also, again, really excited for. And Izo is very intently staring and waiting for this number to go up just a little bit more.
And we will, if we do, again, I am not the tempting fate kind of person. If we reach our goal, then Travis and I can start one by one revealing stretch goals.
And bonuses that we can just add to the mix. That'll be really cool, which we're excited for.
But, oh my gosh. Guys, we've only been doing this for an hour and 18 minutes.
And we're already largely there.
We are so close already. It is fantastic. It is unbelievable. It is amazing.
I'll be a lot less stressed when we hit this number.
I would like to sleep really well tonight.
Yes. And again, I will mention that for 666 USD, you can make a monster with us. And you'll get an STL file designed, put together very handsomely by our lovely artist friends. That you can digitally print, and also artwork of this monster in
So to clarify,
2D.
He's talking about an add-on. For those, so I started Kickstarting a long time ago when Kickstarter was still relatively new. I mean, I didn't make a Kickstarter. I was actually a person supporting them, and I still do. But all that time ago, there weren't these add-ons. Nowadays, you can select the tier that you want, and then for an additional cost, you can get an add-on. So we have the tiers that you get you the digital or the hardcover or a mix of both, or a mix of both and the 14-track soundtrack and the battle maps. But if, let's say, you want the digital and you want the battle maps, then you can actually select the tier for the digital and then just take the battle maps as an add-on. And our add-ons include the soundtrack, the battle maps. Both of those are digital files. Additionally, at a higher price tier, if you want something that you've helped us create put into the book so that other people can play something of your own personal nightmares, then you can either help us craft an NPC at the 500 USD level, or you can help us make a monster at the 666 USD level.
Indeed. One example of something that was sculpted for us, we wanted a statue, a headless statue. And this is what we got here. It's very, I'm going to put it, it's 2 different cameras, so I have to like show it off to 2 different places. And this is painted, so to look like it's made of not resin. And now I don't know how to make this thing focus on something that's that far. But yes, it's a very... So when we, I'm excited for the sculpting elements as too. Do you ever...
Travis really enjoys the STL files. I do as well. I'm such a visual player. What?
Nothing. I was reading the next question.
Okay. Are the battle maps easy to print at home, or are they more for VTTs?
That's a good question. The files can be printed at home. That would be doable. You could be able to print them yourself. They would work really well also for VTTs. They're very vibrant and colorful. If you have a printer from the 90s, I wouldn't recommend it easily. If you have a printer from the year 2000 or beyond, you're probably okay. That would be my advice.
And like we said earlier, some of the maps, if they are battle maps, not just location maps, will have the option of having it with or without the grid. Do you know what kind of grid we plan on including? Are we doing square grids or hex grids?
Square, because square is the way that this game is played.
Okay. Square grids it is?
Yes. If it was Liberty.
Yes. That's a completely different thing, guys. We still have the Liberty after game.
Note.
We hit 8,000
8,000!
euro, which means it's time for another treato for the doggo.
Oh my gosh. I have to hold
Can
this.
you put the food in the other room so that he doesn't...
I really want to eat the food.
Well, go in the other room and stuff your face.
No, then I won't be able to talk.
Okay, I can't let him jump on the chairs, though, until you get back, because I don't want him knocking over the chair.
Okay.
Hold the chair. Up! All the way up! All the way up!
All the way.
Good boy.
Sit.
Sit.
Stop. Foos.
Give
Use a
your
foot.
paw. Good boy. And speak. Izo?
Touch.
Izo? No!
Go get it. Oh, no. Back up. We got headbutted.
Izo, should they support us? Should they make a monster?
That was a yes.
And
Okay.
are we good dog parents?
Controversial, but needed to be said.
Make you chunky. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, little guy.
Do you want to stay there? You can
Are
stay there.
you our mascot now? He lives here. This is the Fool and Scholar production
There we go.
here today. Thank you for coming to our TED Talk. No, those aren't more treats. No, that's right. That's where the treats live. Okay.
You gonna lay down? You can't stay up here.
All right, come on. Thank you, little guy.
Oh!
Thank you, little
Got
guy.
smacked.
Thank you, little guy. So yes, we are working on some cool things. We've got ideas. If you make a monster, can it be Izo? The answer is yes.
Izo's not a monster.
But he's invincible, of course. We have to worry about that. Something. Justice for Izo. Hashtag justice for Izo.
He was literally, he gave the tiniest little woof when I asked him for good dog parents. I tried, man. I tried.
He even wears little shoes when he goes outside because he's allergic to grass. So we have to put shoes on every time he goes out. And that's why he's very
Seriously, like Izo has to wear shoes when he goes outside because he's allergic to grass. And it's silly. And people don't believe us at first because they come over and they'll have dinner with us and they're like, oh, Izo has to go out, and then we have to spend time putting little shoes on him and velcroing them closed.
Yes.
It's adorable.
It is a lot, but it's quite cute.
This is not the Izo show.
No.
It could be. Do you guys want it to be the Izo show? Because I am totally a fan of the Izo show.
When I carry him, it's also quite amusing because he's quite large. So I'm just like, this is me and then the dog, and then
It's more like a struggle.
well, he's like a wiggly
He
snake.
honestly doesn't mind being lifted up. It's just that it's such an unruly weight and size.
And he wiggles. But okay, back to real talk.
Do you want to be up here?
No. He wants food. Only food. But all seriousness, thank you all for backing our Kickstarter, those of you who have so far. We're really excited. We're over 125 people, which is amazing. We're 8/9 to our goal, so we're in the home stretch of hitting our goal on Kickstarter. Two people could get us there. That's exciting. That's very exciting.
Also, for the selfless amongst you, you don't even have to support at a tier. On Kickstarter, they allow you to just support even if you don't want something. But if you're going to support, please take the book, because then we spread our evil into the world.
Yes, and actually with every person who makes a creature, our book gets even bigger too. So that's another piece of excitement.
Should I get us another drink?
Sure.
Or do you want a water? What do you want?
Whatever you think is fun. I'll drink the thing that's fun. We don't have many options here. But how do I...
It's either this or pineapple juice or water.
Yes. This or pineapple juice or water. I'm up for either of them. I don't know how to pin things.
Going to make tea would take too long.
It would. I would have to distract them with something. That would be terrible.
Should I make tea? Should I leave you alone with Travis? I know it can be weird.
I'm sorry. I'm like the old uncle. It's like, I'll play you an accordion song.
I won't leave you alone. I'll leave you with Izo. How's that sound? I'll make us some tea.
So.
Go spend time with Travis. Travis, you gotta move over. You took his spot.
Izo, come on up.
Up here.
He's gonna take all the treats.
He's gonna take it all.
He's gonna take all the treats. Don't encourage him to do that. That's not how this works. Okay, she's gone. You just got to the anatomical theater of the White Vault. I believe I've never heard of them before. Well, friends, we're very happy to have you here. I think I have my very own box. 1 second, I'll be right back. Give me like 13 seconds, and I'll be back with some fun stuff. So, we have ideas of what could be. It's the Izo show. We've got me. And for those of you who are White Vault fans, we do have a stone box with some stuff in it. We're creepy people. We make creepy things. And we have the stone box with human teeth for added realism for those of you who are at the stone box human teeth level. For the premium experience, I'm joking, of course. Please, we won't mail you human teeth. We've only done that once, and I've never lived it down. That was to Peter. Who sent me a box with teeth? Like, well, you finished the season. We're so happy that you worked with us on the season. But in all seriousness, we are working on a really, really, we want to hold. I can't say that spoiler stuff, but yes, you're correct, Inksy, Foxfire, Deleith. It is a lot of human remains over. I guess they're technically not remains but they are remaining parts of humans. I'm going to quickly chat about this lovely book by pulling up something silly, because I do have a version of it on my computer, which is Domain of the Nameless God. We actually had so many problems because we capped out the capacity of Google Docs when you make comments, and after a certain number, they just give up. They conk out. I'm going through this book. Just Domain is 192 pages. We have these lovely women called winnowers, the fanatical cultists who are undead, and they're waiting for you, and they're looking for you, and they want to dance, and they want to have a great time, and they want to share their sunflowers with you. And they're also a little creepy, and the sunflowers have problems, and there's another place called the Vermilion Abattoir where you can go, and there is so much meat and creepiness there, and if you are an evil character, you might be at home. And if you're not an evil character, you can maybe stop the madness, and that might be a good thing. And there's darkness there waiting for you. There's also a place called the Hush Spire, which is waiting for you in Cromana. And this Hush Spire has many things, including something locked within a corpse, within a basement, and under the water. And if you do let it out, we're not responsible for what it says, because it could lead to problems and complications. Where did you get the human teeth? You don't want to know. They're ethically sourced, we'll say that. Are you able to ship to the UK as part of the Kickstarter? Yes, we can ship to the UK as part of the Kickstarter. Thank you for asking. We can ship to the UK, we can ship to the US, we can ship to the EU, we can ship to Asia, because we're working with Nord Games, who is doing the co-publishing with us on this and making all that possible. Wow, the tea was really fast.
Do you have coasters?
I don't have coasters. I do have coasters there, maybe. Yes, I have a coaster and I have a mouse pad. And now with a coaster and a mouse pad, the tea is here.
Okay, do not drink. Very, very hot. Very hot.
Where does books? I wouldn't mind box of teeth.
Can you move this back more again? Okay.
Oh no, where was heart? Oh, the heart was in there. It's okay. It's just waiting.
It's shriveled.
It did shrivel a bit. It's kind of, yeah, it's shriveled.
90%!
What? I'm not believing this. This is incredible. Incredible. Incredible.
Okay, so we won't celebrate at the €9,000 mark. We'll celebrate once the 9,059
the
euro
100%
mark,
mark.
which is the 100% mark. In which case we will give Izo
Ba-da-ba-ba. The big one.
this very large dog treat. No,
Ah,
Izo,
box.
I know I touched it, Izo. I'm sorry. You gotta wait for it, sweetie pie.
It was box. I didn't finesse. I was being non-rooster. Caitlin, do you have any scary stories you can share with us? Just random scary stories,
Scary random stories?
or random scary stories, because you're good at spinning a yarn. You're good at telling us a tale. In fact, you've written one that you never shared with anyone except me. I was the only one who've ever read it. The tale of the hole and the old woman
Oh,
and the eyes.
I need that on. That's like 5 pages long.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be totally dramatic.
You want me to read that?
Yes,
Okay,
I think you
don't
should read it.
have it.
You have it on your pad.
Do I?
You do. You sent it to me. It's in
Where?
Dropbox.
It's in Dropbox?
It's in Dropbox.
But you want me not to have this up anymore.
Well, they'll tell us when we hit the number. I trust them.
Let me find my laptop.
Okay. Caitlin's going to find her laptop. We have a super scary story for you. It's a dark dice story. Caitlin writes these really overly dramatic, wonderfully dramatic, I should say. It's not overly dramatic. It is dramatic. Tales that don't make it to our books because they're huge. And they're really scary. And they don't make it to the episodes because it's lore and it's backstory. And she never shares them with anyone but me. And I read them and I despair at how terrifying they are. And also knowing I don't know how I'm going to share them with people. So we are working on a lovely monster, and this is the origin story for that monster.
It hasn't been edited. It's still so long-winded.
It's not super long-winded. I already edited bits of it. Keen to have access to your sanity mechanic.
Move your booty.
Also, yeah, so you've got an award-winning author right here about to read some fun stuff for us. A lore book. Well, if you guys make this book possible, we can always extend it with more lore.
Guys, I have so many things that are not ready for this book, but they'll be ready for the next one.
What you got?
Let's make this happen. Okay.
It's under the Dark Dice folder, I think.
I'm in the Dark Dice folder. I gotta find it.
It has a weird name,
I know.
like The Woman with the Eyes, or The Hole, or
It's not that.
that's a font.
That is a font. These are lots of different fonts. Give me a second.
Well, while you find that, I'll continue chatting up. But yeah, we could possibly make that happen. Possible ideas, possible options. There's a lot of lore in this book, though, already. I will just say there is a lot of lore, and
we have so many new things that we want to make. Where the heck?
we do have many ideas, and they're all quite fun. Do you remember the name?
I'm looking for it.
Okay, I'll just be quiet. I will not interrupt this process, this progress. Other things that are in this book that we're talking about that are kind of fun. Some other interesting monsters besides spider folk and shambling abominations that are riddled with terrors within them, and new parasites, which are
Please, I
looking,
saw it
and
recently.
hush eels that'll make you very quiet and steal your voice, because that's actually they'll steal a single sound because that is their specialty. And flesh trees and creepy dolls, and you can make your own now. Hearing and reading a great horror story and not being able to share it. Question: how much for a signed cast copy with Jeff Goldblum in the cast? That would be tough. I'd have to mail your book out to LA, and then I have to mail it to England, and then I have to mail it to Canada, and then I'd have to mail it to... I don't think I can do a signed version of the cast, but if you do, hunt them
If you
down.
want it signed by Travis,
If you want it...
that is way more doable. But I understand if it's more about Jeff.
And if you can go see one of Jeff's shows, I'm sure he'll sign it for you. He's very friendly.
You can open it to his picture, like his character's picture, Baldur's picture, and be like, "Can you sign it?"
Yeah, the flesh trees are quite mean. They're high-leveled monsters. We also have the clay hag now as a full...
Are you sure you want to read this? It is 4 pages long.
Go for it.
It is 4 pages long.
If we hear no's or yeses, I think I've seen a lot of...
It's over 2,000 words. It would be... You guys would be stuck here.
It could get us to the goal. It could get us to goal. And it's an original story that you're not going to hear anywhere else. That's a yes. It's a couple yeses. Whoa, whoa, whoa. How do I open this? Consider your kick started on my behalf. Says Kixie Wixie. Hit refresh. Scroll up.
Almost there.
We're getting close.
What the heck is
Thank
that?
you.
There we go.
Yes.
My iPad has decided it doesn't want to live a very long life.
It is not long for this world.
All right, now we have... Guys, okay, how many screens are in front of us right now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5. This one's just not on.
Every electronic we own, except for... No, this is every electronic I own.
That's EZO, incidentally.
And there's so this is my phone, my iPad, and my laptop. And then we're on Travis's laptop for the Twitch and YouTube stream. Travis has his phone just in case we had anybody calling us during this to congratulate us. Because
or just to like tell us
Travis's family is very loving and very supportive. And Travis's other actual like freaking tower computer is just in the other room.
Rendering the new episode, which is just out right now.
Because he is rendering the newest episode of Dark Dice Gesundheit.
Which takes place in Cromana. It's a crossover episode with the Lucky Die and involves monsters.
So yes, we are on YouTube right now as well as Twitch, and then we are also here on Instagram. We just wanted to cover as many bases as possible because we do know that some people are on different locations.
Yes. Okay.
Are you going to help me read? Can we like switch off so that I'm not like reading the whole time and my mouth gets tired?
You have tea.
But it's too hot to drink. Okay.
Maybe. If there's like extra voices, I'm not
sure this is ready for
dig
public.
them up.
I'm not sure this is ready for public.
Go for it. It's ready for public.
I don't like you.
This is amazing.
You're so mean.
I'm not mean. This is an amazing story. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. But
you have to switch off.
Depriving. Okay, I'll switch off.
Okay. All right. This one was written as an origin story for a new possible monster. And it is called... Loud slurping. It is called The Pieces. Once, there was a mother who was blessed with twins. A summer came and went, and she fell pregnant again, and again she birthed twins. The next year, she was equally blessed, and now her family had grown in 3 summers' time from a happy couple into a bustling brood of 8. She and her husband split the work, diligent to love their children and grow their wealth, trying to bring only the best to their children's futures. Years passed until the eldest twin boys reached 9 summers of age, and their parents had saved and saved so both their bright young boys could attend the local school. Travis.
So they did. For Moritz and Rothi were both bright and eager to learn. Their mother made them each bags for their books and slates, and a small pouch they would share. This pouch, she explained, was a talisman to keep them safe and keep them focused on their work. They happily took the bags and the talisman, and Moritz would wear the talisman pouch on the walk to school. Around lunch, they would switch, and Rothi would wear it on the walk back to the orchard in the afternoon. Their mother was adamant they would not disturb the magical herbs within, for their magics were a fragile thing.
Their teacher, a woman with long black hair just like their mother's, zealously taught them all she could. Moritz and Rothi were the sharpest in their class, learning in one autumn more than other students had learned in a year. And their teacher adored them. She answered all their questions and reveled in their curious minds. It was months into school that their teacher fell ill. She never let it stop her from teaching, but all the students could see how saddened and weak she had become. She sat in a rolling chair now, and one of her hands was always tucked beneath her blanket. Moritz and Rothi spread no rumors, but they heard the other children whisper. Her skin was falling off, her bones were turning brittle, Her blood pushed out in boils. Her veins looked like spider webs. All terrible things to think about the woman who so happily taught them everything they asked to know.
As the teacher grew more ill, the lunch break grew longer and longer, so she could rest between lessons. But as the end of spring had come and summer was once again upon them, the children took the opportunity to swim. Each student would strip to their underthings and dive into the school's little pond, startling ducks and dislodging turtles in their enthused play.
And the teacher would rest, sitting watch over all their belongings while the children swam and splashed. She could rest her eyes, breathe clean air, and dream a dream she no longer had within reach. Her own children, her own family, her own future. But maybe there was something she could do.
Summer came and went, and more children joined the class, including Morowitz and Rothy's twin little sisters, Mathy and Lineth. Mathy and Lineth were just as enthused and clever as their brothers, and they loved and pitied their adoring, sickly teacher.
And the teacher only grew more ill. She refused to see doctors and never stood from her chair. One of her arms stopped working, and she hid it beneath the blankets and shawls she wore. Her once shining black hair began to fall out, so she cut it short and wore an old hand-stiff kerchief around her head. She moved into the old schoolhouse to make sure she could be there for the children, and through it all she smiled and taught. Languages, science, magics, she knew a bit of everything.
One day, returning home from school, the children's mother decided to replace the magic herbs within the eldest son's talisman pouch. She was surprised upon picking it up that it was so heavy. She asked her sons about the weight. "Oh, it's always been that heavy on the way home," said Rothy, while helping pick apples from the tree.
"But it shouldn't be," their mother said. First, she checked their daughter's talisman, but it looked unopened and weighed as it should. So she opened the boy's talisman pouch, and smelled within sickened her. Stuffed atop her blessing herbs and charmed flowers rested a bit of fresh meat. The meat looked recently cut, but the inside of the pouch was lined with congealed blood and rotten fluids, as though from time long spent.
"Moritz, Rothy, who has spoiled your talisman so?" cried their mother. Moritz and Rothy looked confused and pleaded. They had not opened the pouch. Over a year of school, and never had they opened the small talisman. Their mother believed them. Worried over foul magics at work, she buried the talisman pouch under the sacred tree in the orchard. She spent that evening making another talisman, and asked her sons to keep good care over their new talisman.
The next day, when they came home, when their evening work was done, their mother checked the talisman again. Nothing seemed amiss, and so for the next 10 days, every day when her children came home, she checked the talisman before bed, and everything looked fine.
But as another day passed, Rothy came home and placed the talisman near his school things, and went out to help his mother in the orchard. And as he did, little Mathy rushed out of the house, yelling out for her mother. "Mama, the talisman's moving! It's shaking! It's moving!"
The mother rushed inside, but the talisman did not move. She picked it up, and inside was a small drip of blood, but no meat, and she noticed it had been opened. She called for her husband, who she requested to lift up the children's bed. As he did, she tore up the floorboards from the little house, and 2 dark eyes stared up at her, surrounded by a mangled face of blood and meat, crooked teeth shining through.
With a startled scream and fearful recoil, the bed fell back to the floor. When the parents looked again, they could find no trace of the terrible creature. Their mother took up their talismans and stuffed them full of protective herbs, tossing them into the hole beneath the floorboards. Their father then filled the hole, and the family went into town the next day to buy protections for the local priestess. From the local priestess.
Local priestess.
It's okay. We're spell checking it right now, live.
But they never felt safe in their home in the nights that followed. Their youngest twins, Hal and Tori, swore they could hear nursery rhymes at night. Mathy and Lineth heard a voice telling them history stories late into the morning. Moritz and Rothy swore they heard multiplication tables long past sundown. Fearful their loving parents held them home for several days, worried something was stalking their children.
You've now made it to page 3 of 4. I should just clarify that
mean.
if you're reading along, if you turn the page, this is the moment where you turn the page. There's a little... Oh, I have the little thing that makes the noise. It's in another room.
You need a soundboard? Oh, the...
Yeah, the little
Okay.
the bell that makes noise. But as we get closer, we're very close to hitting our goal.
Travis, read the story. You made me start. You got to finish it.
Okay. I was just excited. Here we go. One day, after many missed classes, a young student known for his kindness but not his keenness knocked at the door. He was carrying a leather satchel and was happy to see his friends again. As they all curiously answered the door, teacher was worried. Thought you were sick. She sent me with this. It's books we're reading and some herbs for tea if you're sick. He took the satchel over his neck and handed it over to their mother. Sorry, the mouse is in the way. I hope you feel better, but I don't want you to get ill. Bye. And their school friend hurried away. The children took the books, and their mother took the herbs. She boiled them for tea that evening, and the family enjoyed a calm night. Dreaming of bountiful trees and soft river banks, their mother was awoken by Hal's small hand pulling on her sleeve.
The bag moved, Mama.
She bolted awake and picked up Hal, watching as the satchel unsewed itself. The black threads unwound in the dark of night into compacted strands of black hair. The leather creaked and stretched, wrapping around bits of flesh that wiggled free of the gaps in the floorboards to meet the disjointed satchel. She screamed, and everyone awoke to see horror before them. Out from the space beneath the floor crawled muscle, popped eyes, rattled teeth, and was swallowed up by the skin of the satchel. The parents rushed out of the home with their children, and just as their father was about to set the only home they had on fire, the mother begged him to stop. She told Moritz and Rothi to rush as fast as they could, and summon the local priestess, and so they did.
Soon upon thunderous horseback, the priestess and her assistant arrived, a child seated behind each. The parents explained everything, and the priestess walked to their door, resting her holy hand on the wooden door. Unnerving noises ushered from the home, and the priestess was done. And when the priestess was done, she turned to their father.
Ready a boat on the river, and bring your cart to the door. We will purge this place. Your home is not yet lost.
And so her words were followed. Their father paid a fisherman for use of their ship in the night, and the children towed their harvest cart to the door of their house. The priestess drew runes about the cart and readied herself against the terrible things in the house. She cast her magics and walked in. Calmly she returned to the door and placed the satchel on... Sorry, you're moving it.
I'm sorry.
On the cart. Again, she went in, this time returning with the mother's shopping bag. This too she placed in the cart. She went again, bringing out the father's orchard sack. Again, the children's school bags. Again, pouches of spices, sachets of smelling herbs, and tie-on pouches wound with ribbons.
Are there any other pouches in the home?
She asked. After a moment, their mother nodded.
2 talisman pouches buried in the earth beneath the children's bed, and 1 buried beneath our watcher tree in the orchard. Dig them up,
The priestess commanded. And so her attendant and father dug and dug until 2 rotten talisman pouches were tossed up, and from below the priestess placed them in the cart. The mother dug up the one beneath the tree, and she placed it into the cart. She was overwhelmed by a stench of flesh.
Now wheel the cart to the boat. When the boat is in the middle of the river, tip the cart out. Do not touch the pouches.
The priestess ordered, and so it was. The father and the attendant took the cart aboard the small ship and toppled all the bags out of the fast-flowing waters of the river. That night the family slept in the temple and bathed in its holy waters. The children stayed home from school again, but this time no students came to drop off books. One day a young boy from before stopped by and asked to play with Moritz and Rothi. Their mother permitted it, but asked why he was not in school.
The schoolhouse is all closed up, and no one's seen the schoolmistress in days. She's been sick for so long, afraid she might be gone now.
The boy responded. The mother let them play, and she went to tell the priestess about the school teacher's absence. They went together to the schoolhouse and, after knocking for some time, forced the door open. Within, the small back room that had once been the schoolteacher's quarters, they found what remained of her. Now dead, and without the manner in which to oppose, the priestess and mother could see the extent of the schoolteacher's illness.
She was ill in skin and mind, and the marks on her skin and the ends of her missing limbs were those of a small knife. On her right hand she held a knife between what little remained of a thumb and a pointed finger. The tongue in her mouth had been cut free, the teeth pried loose, her skin flayed off, and they wondered when the schoolteacher had taken out her eyes, though the mother had some idea. Rumors spread, some very close to the truth. Whispers spread that a bag was dredged up by the fishermen several towns down by the river, and when he looked inside, it swallowed him whole. Some say another bag was stolen off a man in the city of the coast. The thief took bones upon bones out of the small bag until a mangled hand reached out and tried to pull him in.
He cut off his own arm then, and the bag was lost to the sewers. But curiosity and greed will certainly find it soon. This has been The Pieces by K.A. Stats.
It needs work.
It's getting there.
I
Feels
don't know
good.
what this box is, but I'm putting that on that box.
Sounds good. It's our
Can I drink my tea now?
Yeah, you can. Absolutely.
You didn't wave to any of these people.
I was reading. I was very scared
You didn't wave.
at my parts as my parts were appearing because I had
There we
to
go.
read. And yes, so that is our creepy story of the evening. Never before premiered.
Izo.
He scared himself.
Izo tooted and then he stood up. He was like, oh. So, it needs a little bit of work, but that's a story about a kind of monster that I created that lives inside of a bag and can create magical bags by moving from one place to another. And it was about a woman who wanted so much to be part of a family that she sent bits and pieces of herself home with the family she wished she had, until she became something a bit more malevolent.
Guys, we are 98% to our goal. We just need... I think we're 99%. We're 99%.
We are on the cusp.
We're like one more person. It could
On
be
the cusp.
you. You could get us to goal during this stream, and then we'd be there.
Okay, I sat
So,
with my legs crossed with my laptop on it, and now I can't feel my foot.
That was okay. It's a good. You can the foot
Can't
can
feel
go.
my foot.
The foot can
Thank
go.
you. So glad you think that.
That's okay.
But we have so many amazing stories, things like that we want to be able to create and put in future books. It's obviously not done. We also have no art for it, no stat blocks for the monster or anything else. But those are the kinds of things that we want to be able to put forward in the future for more stories, more books. Unnatural Horrors being the very first one that we want to put into hardcover. People have actually been asking since the launch of Dark Dice if they could get this Domain of the Nameless God or the
Printed.
True Necromancer printed and on their bookcases, and we said, hey, we really only have it digitally right now. Thank you for your interest. It's super nice to hear that you like it so much. And so we are trying really, really hard to get this out into the world, and we're so freaking close
We're
right
like
now.
one person. I'm looking at this right now. 143. We're very 144 is probably going to get us there. I feel very strongly. Or 145.
We are
1 to 2 people there.
so close right now
We'll throw a party.
making this. We will give Izo the big treat.
Yes.
Don't like shake me. I'm holding tea.
I know. We don't want to shake too.
But putting this one out into the world, making this possible, and then I know it sounds silly to be like, there's so much more we can do even after we reach our goal, but we do have ideas of stretch goals. We're just also the kind of people who, don't want to play with a Ouija board.
Yes. Until the Ouija board is
because
confirmed.
you don't touch that stuff. You just let fate do its thing, and you don't poke it. You don't tell Athena or Aphrodite which one's more beautiful. You don't want a Troy. We're good at this. We're gonna try not to do that. We're gonna wait until.
That's how you get Troy.
Do you want a Troy? That's how you get a Troy.
And all the Greek men will get into a fight and. Is that? Am I reading this right?
Yeah,
Are we funded?
I think we are. Can I do the thing?
You can do the thing.
Should I do the thing?
You should do the thing. One second.
No. It disappeared.
Oh, what?
Wait, no, it just reappeared.
I'm
What?
confused.
What?
Went down and then went up.
It went down and went up, but it's back up again. It's back up again! Alright, come here.
Wait,
Where are
wait,
you
wait,
going?
wait.
Come here.
I was looking for the thing. You have the thing.
Come here. Iso, up. Okay, you guys,
Funded!
if we can continue to do this, we will make so many effing books for you guys. Ow, don't bite me. And additional money always goes towards our lovely little doggy Iso, who gets this. He gets a big, big one.
Wait, don't eat it off screen.
That
People
was a
want to see
lot
your
of
happiness.
That was a lot of spit.
He's
Can I
chewing
see
it.
Can I see it? You want to eat it up here?
Nope.
No?
He's running
I'm
away
having
from
to
us.
wash my hands.
Guys, thank you. Woohoo! We made it. Yes, I'm very happy. I know one thing that I can do, which can add to this moment just a little bit. Maybe it'll suck or it'll be okay. We'll try it.
Are you picking up the accordion?
Of course. I know one song, and it's the victory song. Thank you, guys. We are so grateful.
All right, now we're in the chill phase.
Now we're in the chill
So,
phase.
any requests?
The chill phase.
Woo!
Oh man, I can't believe we did it. That's incredible. I am so happy.
Don't hurt Izo's ears with the accordion.
Oh, I won't. That was the loud version because I. You do that. Cut the little guy.
We did it, Izo. We get this book. Do you want another book? Yeah, you do.
He wants another. He's like we should do more of these. In fact.
Yeah, because he wants all the tree.
Yes.
Oh my god. We're gonna have a book, guys.
Seriously, thank you guys for making this possible. We can now actually go to sleep at some point. I feel like we've earned it. We've been up for a few days, and the Karma Police, the accordion version as a perk. What?
Izo.
Karma Police. I don't know that. Word.
Izo can tell you that we've been freaking crazy people for
Days.
days,
Days and days and days.
and it's been nothing but Kickstarter prep.
Yep.
And we did
Yes.
it. We did it. We did it.
We did. We did the thing.
We did it.
I'm
We did
really happy. And now we can relax.
Also, go watch the Kickstarter video if you haven't, because
Thank you.
we're proud of it.
Yes, we are. It was a lot of work and a lot of art, and you can see a lot of pieces of art.
Can I have some space? The accordion
Yes.
doesn't need the space. The intro song to Don't Mind Cruxmont, but on accordion?
And then Athena ends on like a high note. Bop. Thanks. Something like that. Yeah. Man, that was. I still can't believe we did it. I'm not prepared mentally. I'm just like, no, we have more to do.
You
But
did
we
great.
did it. We did it. You did great.
Now we have a lot more work to do.
Yes, but it's fun work. It's the fun work. Oh man.
Guys, let's do this. Thank you to everyone who's already a supporter. If you have fellow nerds in your life, let them know about us. Okay? Let them know about the Kickstarter. Or if they're not Kickstarter people, just say like, hey, listen to this podcast. And, share the terror, share the misery. And, yeah. And, Izo, don't knock that over.
Yes.
You
And ask
do
yourself
that.
if you
You do it.
are excited for the things. We are super excited. I don't know what he's looking for either.
He wants the treats.
But he's had the treats.
You've had so many
All the
treats
treats.
tonight. So many. A minimum of 9 treats. Of
Yes.
varying sizes.
So, the Silent One, we are so happy for you guys. So many ridiculous things. We just cannot even. Thank you guys. So, yes. Yeah.
How do we bring more terror to your tables? Let us know.
Let us know, or, yeah, that's the things. We'll talk to you guys soon. We wish you a lovely evening, and we'll figure this out and start to look toward next steps to make announcements, because this is a big deal. Wow.
Oh, now I gotta make the images to start revealing stretch goals.
Yeah, and
Woo! Good
and-
problem to have.
absolutely, and necro dancers apparently, necromancer accordion fans. We'll
Of course, Phil.
we'll figure some stuff out for you.
Hey, sweetie. You want to say bye-bye? Iso, come here. Iso, up. You want to say bye-bye? You want to say bye-bye? Want to say bye-bye?
Baizo.
Are you a good boy? You're the best boy.
Can I sign us off with a Castlevania song?
Sure. I'll get out of the way.
Yeah. That's it. Then this
You can't
Something
see
like
the
that.
behind-the-scenes part where Izo is licking his elbows.
Sleep friends, thank you so much. We've got a ridiculous dog dancing behind me, and we're gonna relax because holy
Oh
cow,
my God, I'm gonna relax.
I'm gonna go to the realm of dreams tonight.
The good one.
The good one. Even if they're nightmares, I'll be getting sleep. That's really amazing. Thank you guys. I can't thank you enough. We're really grateful, and
We can't thank you enough.
we can't thank you enough. Nor can Izo. He really enjoyed his treats. We will catch up with you later.
It sets a really bad precedent for how many treats he's gonna get.
I know. Well, I guess for everything else, we'll catch up with you guys in the near future with more adventures and some updates because we got to start making updates now. Got to push the buttons.
Night, guys.
Night, guys.